What's up? It's me, world famous film critic Nolan Ekberg. Today we're going to be reviewing Love, Simon in a Closet. If you didn't get that joke, Love, Simon is a movie based on a book called Simon and the Homo Sapiens Agenda of the World or something. But basically it's about Simon Spier. He's in high school. I think senior year, they never specify. And he is going through life, and he is a closeted gay kid. His friends are very basic people, like Dutch Bros, Starbucks basic. They get coffee, they Snapchat, they Instagram. But this guy, he has a huge secret. He's gay, and he doesn't want anybody to know not because of the gayness, because he's fine with being gay. He's afraid to tell everybody because he's afraid his life will change, and he's very happy with the way his life is. He doesn't want anything to change, and he's afraid if this secret gets out, then his life will change. And that was probably my favorite part of this movie, that it isn't focused on that having a gay secret is bad and you should keep that in. It was focused on the fact that he didn't want his life to change. I'm gonna be honest, I went into this movie with fairly low expectations. I didn't go in with expectations of, oh, this is gonna suck. I went in with that. I didn't go in thinking, oh, this is gonna suck. I went in thinking, you know what? I'm not a huge fan of these types of movies. These teen drama romance movies based off of books. Not a huge fan of them. But it could be good. It could be really good. I was gladly surprised. I have my problems with it, and I will get to those in a bit. But as far as the vast sea of mainstream garbage goes, this is kind of a good special one. If you know me, you know I am not a fan of mainstream entertainment. Not because it's mainstream, not because everybody else likes it, because I think it's pandering, I think it's obvious, I think it is low quality, it is lazy, and that has nothing to do with the fact that it's mainstream. It's just those certain things end up being the popular things. Jumanji! Jumanji! Sorry, I had an awful piece of cancer in my throat. Love, Simon definitely is mainstream. It checks most of the boxes when it comes to appealing to all audiences. When you're making a movie like this, you have to make sure you offend nobody, and you have to make sure you please everybody. Let's get into the things that I really do like about this movie, because there are quite a few, actually. It was surprisingly well written. It's very formulaic script. There's nothing that it does extremely different than other ones, but it's witty, it's charming, it's charismatic, it is surprisingly funny. There's just a couple things with the script. There was some generic dialogue in there, like some Fault in Our Stars type dialogue, which again, I know people like. Not my thing. There's a lot of narration in this movie too, which narration is a tricky subject for me. The pinnacle of bad screenwriting is when there's narration explaining things. Narration is giving you an exposition dump because the people realized, oh my god, none of this movie makes sense. We have to put some narration in there. But narration can be used in a really interesting and cool way, like in Molly's Game or something. It portrays the thoughts of the person throughout the entire movie. It's never explaining anything to the audience that the movie couldn't explain itself. It's just giving you the thoughts and the process of how the mind works of a character. In Love, Simon, it falls somewhere between those two. All the narration really does is he explains his life in the beginning, so in the movie, there are two kids. There's Simon and then there's Blue. And they're basically pen pals to each other over email. Blue is a gay kid at the school Simon goes to. And Blue's not his name, it's his fake name to hide his identity. Simon is emailing him. They're having this relationship back and forth. And the entire movie is somewhat of a mystery, trying to find out who this Blue person is. And what the narration does in that sense is it reads the emails out loud, just so you don't have to read it on screen. Let's talk more in depth about the characters really quick. Very realistic characters. Nobody seemed far-fetched, nobody seemed over the top. This really seemed like stuff that people could do and people would do. And another great part about this movie is it's realistic in the sense of how well realized high school is and school is and how teenagers talk and act. Not talk. Because if you go to school, you realize they say highly offensive things. Look at it. It has a great example of how most high school and middle school kids actually talk. Other than the talking, it's very well realized how high school kids work, what they do, how they act, their anxiety, their angst. Nothing felt like it was a bunch of adults trying to write something so they could relate to kids, you know? Let's talk about the acting. It is very good. I have seen Nick Robinson, who plays Simon, in about one other movie, and I think it was The Fifth Wave, and he sucked in that, but that's because the movie sucked. What does that sound? He is very good in this. You really relate to him. And I'm not gay, but in the sense of that everybody has a secret that they're keeping in, not in the sense that everybody's gay. And when it was time to actually feel sympathy for Simon, I felt sympathy for Simon. Oh, this is getting really cramped. I'm gonna stand up for a second if that's all good with you. Oh. Alright, we've got past all this stuff I like. Very funny, relatable, good characters, well acted, well written, good stuff, very good stuff. What are the things that I didn't like? These things are actually pretty minor, except for the last one, and I'll get to that in a second. But these first scenes are pretty minor. I do not like the way it's shot. This movie could have been so much more visually interesting, and there are a couple shots in there that do look great. But then most of them just look like bland, boring, flat lighting, garbage. You have him having these dream sequences of a dance sequence in college with these rainbow colored shirts, and it looks just so boring and flat. And it could have been so much more vibrant and colorful. I was not a huge fan of the score, and there is a difference between score and soundtrack. Score is the original music made for the movie that a composer sat down with a bunch of people and made specifically for this movie. A soundtrack is that score, but also throwing in a bunch of these other songs already made by people. I do like the soundtrack of this movie, but the score doesn't work at all in this movie. It's that kind of like this techno thriller sort of thing in this romance movie, and it doesn't work at all. And then when it does get the right tone, like this romance thing, it sounds like some stock music found off of YouTube or something. People often think the score should be just there to convey the right feeling. There's been a lot of videos about Marvel doing this. There's been a lot of videos about most movies doing this. So when a movie has a great score, it's something really special. If you look it Up. Up has a fantastic score. It's just the first thing that popped into my mind. There's so many other examples of great scores, but I don't remember one song from Love, Simon. I remember the soundtrack because it's great, but I don't remember the score. The last little problem that I had was that I said earlier in the review that it's a good mainstream movie, but nonetheless, it is a mainstream movie, and your boy has to ruin everything. So there are still certain elements of just formulaic genericness in there and pandering to your audience to sell the most tickets. And if you upset an audience, then you get bad reviews on your movie, and then you don't get money, and it's all about money. You can't do anything offensive or risky with your movie, and that's why I don't like these mainstream movies. And there are certain parts in Love, Simon that are very mainstream. All right, besides that, what was my biggest problem with this movie? And it's a big problem. My biggest problem with this movie is the ending. I think it's pandering. I think it's obvious. I think it's shoving its message in your face. There's a common understanding when you're writing a movie is that you should give an audience 2 + 2. You shouldn't give them 4. Give them the pieces that they need to interpret themselves the movie. I want to go in depth with the ending, so this is going to go into spoiler territory, so if you don't want to get spoiled, thank you so much for watching. Leave now. So in the movie, Simon is trying to find this Blue. He's trying to find who Blue is. And then at the end of the movie, he finally comes out to the entire school. He tells everybody he's gay. And then he's writing this little post on their little school website. He's writing this post saying, all the rumors are true. I'm gay. And he's basically wrapping the entire story up. He's content with being gay. He's content with telling everybody. He's happy with himself. And then after that, he signs it, Love, Simon, click send. And I thought the movie was gonna end there. And honestly, I wanted it to end there. I was thinking in the theater, that would be so cool if they didn't show who this mystery guy is. Because the movie is not about who the guy is. The movie is about Simon's struggle with this secret that he has with coming out. But then he writes in this email to Blue, whoever you are, I will be at this carnival, this Ferris wheel, after the school play. Meet me there. They ruined it. They ruined it so badly. So then they go to the school play, la-di-da, nobody cares. They go to the Ferris wheel, he's sitting there, a giant crowd forms around the Ferris wheel, and I thought, no, they're ruining it even more, because this giant crowd's here now, and it's not about that. It's about Simon's struggle, his internal struggle, not about everybody gathering around a Ferris wheel and watching this dude and him make out. And everybody's watching, this guy isn't showing up, and they're like, oh, this is hard to watch. Oh no, this guy isn't showing up. And finally, he does. Right when everybody thinks he's gonna go, oh, he shows up. Wow, that's so cool. So they set up earlier in the movie this guy named Brock or something. He was Obama. It's Wally West from the Flash TV show. So Wally West shows up and he's like, yo, what up? I'm gay and I'm blue. And I went to the movie with quite a few people and everybody was like, yay! Oh my god, I knew it was him, yay! And I was sitting there thinking, why do you care? He's been in the movie for like 1 or 2 scenes at the very beginning of the movie. Why do you care? It's not a bad reveal. You know what would have been that great reveal? Not revealing it at all. But again, that would have upset most audiences. They would have said, oh no, we don't get to figure out who it is. Who cares? It's more interesting. It's not as obvious and pandering. And you think, oh, it doesn't matter if he ends up with somebody in the end. He'll end up with somebody later in his life. He's content with himself. He's content with being gay. But then the guy shows up. He's like, hey, I'm gay. I'm blue. I've got a penis. And so do you. That's a poem right there. If you're straight, go see this movie. If you're gay, go see this movie. If you're homophobic, probably don't go see this movie. I think most people will like this movie. Again, besides homophobics. But, so, would I recommend it? If you had to see a movie this week, yes, just go see it. It's better than Tomb Raider. If I had to rate this movie, I would give it a 6 out of 10. Please stay tuned for next week, because next week is gonna be a blam of movies. You've got Isle of Dogs, you've got Pacific Rim, Sherlock Gnomes, Unsane, God's Not Dead 3, oh my god, I cannot wait for next weekend. Especially because of Isle of Dogs. You bet your bomb dollar I'm going to be doing a review of Isle of Dogs. I will be doing Pacific Rim. I might be doing Sherlock Gnomes just for the meme of it. I am definitely going to be doing God's Not Dead 3. You know what? Love Simon. Gay people. It's good. Equality. Equality in Hollywood. Good stuff. I don't even think Nick Robinson's gay though. So it doesn't. Who cares, right? Why does it matter, right? Oh, God. Jeez. Oh, God.
Give me the beat, boys, and free my soul.